All right, a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone present here today. A very warm welcome to OPassion Singapore, Malaysia Global. My name is Jeannie Tan, your host today. OPassion was formed in November 2020 and run by a group of dedicated host members. We had our first trial webinar on the 23rd of September 2021. And our first public webinar was on 30th of September 2021 under the mentorship of Dr. Bill Williams. We meet on every Thursday. And the mission of OPassion is to ignite passion for humanity, to nurture mindset and leadership for passion and oblast, and to form passion groups for good causes. And today, our special speaker is Brother Jeffrey Morlock from USA, and he's also one of our host members. So before I pass it on to Brother Jeffrey, I would like to pass this next segment to Brother Kumaran before Ms. Mabel introduce Brother Jeffrey. Brother Kumaran, over to you.
just blown away with what happened today. It's hard to take in. And Jeffrey and I were talking about like what was the highlight of the day. And Jeffrey is like, wow.
Yeah, I went right straight to the Dubai building, the light up of it, everything, all of the marketing, understanding that we now own the 134th floor, the 154th, 51st floor offices. I mean, own those, what a feat in itself. But seeing everything and all the celebration, that just, wow, that was over the top for me.
Yeah, and by the way, well, I don't think people got to grasp everything or take in everything at once because it's a lot. It's overwhelming today. I mean, with what happened with OPassion, with teaming up with the official governments in India, that's a big deal. With our legality and our logistics in Dubai, that was an operation. It's been. Not this year, not last year. It's been on for a while. It's been under work, okay? So this is a long journey. And we own those 2 floors. You cannot fail.
Yeah.
Whatever you sell from there is going to market like crazy. That is a hot punchline. We're in building number 1, if there's a building number 1, Air Force One and Limousine One, and, that is office number 1.
And for those of you that don't know, in Dubai, that is the tallest building in the world, and we own the top floor.
Period.
So we've got the top floor to the tallest building in the world. So when we say the top,
there's no possibility another company would get a higher space. That's the top. Not only that, we own it. It's not like we're going to evacuate in a year or 2. It's on. That's it. We own it. So the possibilities are endless, Jeffrey. Like if you sell anything, it's marketable. The name, the brand, the Dubai buzz and pizzazz and anticipation is astonishing. So I believe that's going to make an incredible impact immediately. This is how you grab authority. I mean, you just demand it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
But I was really moved. I tried to watch it multiple times. It still touched me. You cannot avoid being emotional. And before that, what happened with the video with OPassion?
Oh, I was teared up, and I didn't expect. You said to bring Kleenex and something. Yeah,
it's not a joke. No,
it's not a joke. The word there,
even
touching.
We did an alert. Yeah,
absolutely.
It was incredible.
I don't want to keep you. I know that you're busy and
but you're Jeffrey. Yeah,
and I am. But what I wanted to do is just have something where I could point to the events of today and point our YouTubers and anybody else that's out there to that and say, take your time, go look at that. You need to look at that video, and you need to understand the impact and the momentum of the enormity of what we have done, what Mr. Ashwin Farr, our CEO, has done with this and what was accomplished. We have literally launched in Dubai, and we have a footprint, and we're as real as you get. And that's what I wanted this for, just to point everybody to that, to let you know you need to become part of this because it'll change your lives.
Jeffrey, I still want to share with you. I have to tell you, there is another big building in Dubai, in the internet city, that is also being prepared. We cannot do everything in one day. It's just so much. Like, even showing it takes time. So, what a good day. It's a big day. Why? ONPASSIVE is big. And we started right at the top.
Bless you, brother.
People take decades to get to the point where it's a high altitude, it's refreshing, and I'm going to see you there, all right? All right, we're planning a bigger, mega international event. Could be Dubai, could be somewhere, who knows, right?
See you there.
We got another show in Singapore. We got other countries.
Beautiful.
Catch me if you can. So I enjoyed this day. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed as much we did. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
It's an honor meeting.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
We promised our founders, as always, we over-delivered. Stay tuned for much more to come.
Wow, 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 wow. Kumaran, what a fantastic intro. Wonderful, my goodness. What a wonderful chat interview with Mr. Ash Mufarah, between Mr. Ash Mufarah and today's speaker, Jeffrey Morlock, one of our host team. Let me introduce him. I must, no matter how familiar he is, to we do have visitors, new attendees today. Let me introduce our speaker and host team, Mr. Jeffrey Morlock. And in his exact words, he says, words simply cannot express the appreciation I have for Mr. Ash Mufarah, his team, and his company. And he says, I'm a proud ONPASSIVE founder, ambassador, and I will endeavor to live its vision, the vision and the mission and the value of ONPASSIVE as this leading edge movement changes the entire online affiliate marketing landscape as a smart business provider. And he says, Jeffrey says, my belief in the rightness and solidity of this new tech leader is motivating, strong, and unyielding. And he is here today to share more of what is within him, his feeling, his understanding of ONPASSIVE. And the title for today is Steady as She Goes, Navigating Turbulent Waters. Brother Jeffrey, all yours. The platform, take as long as you need. Thank you.
Good morning. You know, I like the way you said, take all the time you need. I think you guys are used to me kind of going around my elbow to get to my thumb.
It's
So
true.
I appreciate that quite a bit, and thank you so much, Mabel, for allowing me to speak here again this morning on this topic, which Mr. Mufarah, I'm thank you to all of the team here on this. Thank you for the platform and the work you guys do behind the scenes. You are all heroes in this whole movement thing as we move, rather steadily to the destination that we started back in 2018. So I appreciate you and what you're doing and having this platform as a way to get the word out and to encourage others. So thank you so very much for all of that. Now, Mr. Mufarah, over the last 3 weeks or so, have given us some nice sessions. I think 3 of them in particular, or 3 of them that where he's talked that can help us manage our perspective a bit, because he talks, at 60,000 feet, if you will. And by that, I mean, it's a big picture perspective that he has us try to focus on as we look toward the horizon, in direction. And I'm hoping to give a big picture view of ONPASSIVE too through a world view lens, if you will, because we are moving through some very turbulent waters in a way at a global level and in ONPASSIVE. I've always said, or I've maintained, that ONPASSIVE is a microcosm of the world. So as the world goes, ONPASSIVE goes, and vice versa. Now, we've recently hit a rough patch of waters in a way, but that's all it is. It's just a rough patch. We're not down. We're not out. Ash has made sure of that. We've got heart and compassion, and we have a plan. We know where we are. We know how we got here, and we know what we're going to be doing to get back on course, so to speak. So bear with me as I try to paint a large picture in kind of broad strokes, if you will, about where we are and how we're just kind of holding steady as we're going through these waters. Now, in getting started, I do want to draw attention to some current events. I'm sure many of us are very familiar with what's been happening in Bangladesh over the last 6 or 7 weeks. It began with I think it was a 26-year-old sociology student that actually spearheaded a protest. It was a movement against quotes in government jobs. That's how the whole thing got started. Kind of innocuous if you think about how things like this get started all over the world. That they're not starting as something big, but they start as a little spark. And this was a spark in a way, because that single thing actually morphed into what became a national uprising. That's what we're seeing against the then current administration. And since then, we've seen a lot of severe escalation of events, right, resulting in political unrest, nothing new, communal violence, lots of stuff going on where minority groups and, Hindus and Christians and others have all been repeatedly attacked. Violence has targeted minority communities with homes and businesses being vandalized. Just bad stuff. It's ended up with death, quite a few of them even. And Bangladesh, though, is not alone in their suffering. And so I would ask that we would keep our brothers and sisters there in loving energy and in prayer, because these are trying times. And in a very general sense, these events can all be explained as a result of long-standing tensions and struggles between different political factions or power structures, if you will, that have been put in place. And though very, very tragic, events like these, the things that we're witnessing, aren't a new occurrence on the global geopolitical landscape, if you will. And more often than not, they're centered around ideas of corruption, human rights violations, economic disparities, inequities, if you will. And as I indicated, Bangladesh is not alone in this. Over the last year, right, we've had several countries that have experienced these types of political upheavals, protests, unrest similar to what we're seeing there. Myanmar, which used to be Burma, military coup there, protests, violence. Sri Lanka, economic crisis. Pakistan, the opposition party and struggles between the government forces. Iran, always in the news for demonstrations against the government. Nepal, Hong Kong, Thailand, project. It goes on and on and on. Whether you're talking about Russia or Ethiopia or China or Lebanon or Colombia, Sudan, you got all of these things all around the world. We're experiencing these types of activities. Now, I know that sounds a little depressing, and my apologies, but I've said it to underscore the idea that these are global events, and they highlight the complexities and the challenges that are faced by nations. And again, more often than not, they involve political, economic, and social factors. But at the base of all this, what we're really looking at and getting into is something that kind of points to a darkness or a sickness, if you will, in our global systems that are crumbling because they use what I call low energies of greed, manipulation, fear-mongering, right? These systems that we have in place, they cannot be sustained in the new higher energies that are irradiating the planet and, of course, human consciousness, right? But I'm not talking about some mystic new age thing. I'm talking well, I guess it could be a new age thing if you haven't been following it. But what I'm talking about is the energy of heart and compassion that's been rising up on the planet and in humanity for many, many years now. And it's been slowly, but in the last decade or so, it's really taken on exponential growth. And by that, I'm talking about the compassion, gratitude, peace, even, right? A longing for life more abundant, for living in a world of peace and in harmony. I'm talking about the qualities of compassion and connectedness that have, in a way, put ONPASSIVE on the map, so to speak. The societal upheavals that we're looking at and that we feel and see in Bangladesh and the rest of the world are a reflection of these more benevolent energies rising up in us, rising up in humanity, if you will, to find a voice that says, you know what, we're no longer going to be able to tolerate injustice, greed, the corruption and unwanted control that we're seeing. And this voice that is coming up is part of a collection of humanitarian voices that are resonating worldwide, and the voice is crying out for global change, benevolent change. And that change that's being called for is from global corruption. And we see it festering in all sorts of dark recesses and in politics and history, education, medicine, economics, corruption resulting from struggles for power and control over things in this world. And that corruption, we see it globally. It manifests in a lot of different ways. This violence that we see, it's one of those ways. Bribery, blackmail, it's a couple more ways. Manipulation of markets and governments, sabotaging companies. All of these are ways that it manifests. But even with all these things, we're barely scratching the surface, because these tactics and a lot more work to create various types of fear, and that fear serves to disempower us. It keeps us down, keeps us struggling, and keeps us under control in a sense. It's a harsh reality. Corruption is deeply embedded in our world. But there is a silver lining in that amidst all the chaos and the turmoil and the pain that we see throughout the world, humanity has shown and always shown an incredible ability to rise up, to rise above, to find a source of strength, of great strength, that we can overcome such incredible challenges, and that we can rewrite or remark or replot or rechart our course heading to the same direction that we originally started. Sometimes we get things put in our way and we got to rechart the course. Now, as a beacon of what we call heart-led innovation, ONPASSIVE is shining towards that, towards the lifting of humanity into the harmony and abundance that we're all wanting now and wanting more of. And we're working toward that by lifting our own consciousness and coming out with compassion and compassionate action for others. And in this, the world and ONPASSIVE, in trying to do these things, have faced some pretty formidable challenges. And as a general rule, Ash has told us, hey, we expected that these challenges were going to hit us, but we really never expected the level and severity of the challenges and the attacks that we've actually endured as a company. And still they continue. You see, the corruption that's embedded thoroughly in the world kind of wheedles its way into our personal experience in various ways. And this is by the power brokers that, like those people that are controlling big tech and big pharma and all of that. And they use various tactics to control or keep their market share and their power, so to speak. They interfere with funding sources. They steal and copy innovative ideas and products, spread disinformation, propaganda. I mean, these are all tactics. They steal trade secrets, plant individuals and companies. I mean, they can get really nefarious. But I mean, there's a whole lot of other tactics, using legal challenges, regulatory scrutiny, those sorts of things to create obstacles for companies. Sometimes they even lure people away from that company to make hardships for them. But anyway, I think you get the idea, because tactics like these have been used against ONPASSIVE in the last year and a half. And as a result, ONPASSIVE, Ash, Mr. Mufara, his family, and even us as members of ONPASSIVE or the member base, we're all victims of these attacks, in that our freedom, right? Go back to Catmo, we talked about getting back time and getting back money to be able to do what we want to do. That freedom that we expected as a result of regaining that time and money, that's been, well, I wouldn't say it's been totally taken away, but it's certainly been delayed. And our dreams, the dreams that we have corporately for ONPASSIVE and individually, like what you're doing here on this, the dream of lifting humanity, that has been trampled on by those people that have come against us and don't want to see us succeed. So in all this, though, if you look at where we are, this is this is us, and we are persevering. We're driven by Mr. Mufar's vision of a better world, that same vision for lifting humanity. And it's that vision of a world based on connectedness and mutual benefit for the greater good that has led us to internalize, if you will, Ash's vision, making the whole idea of lifting humanity not just a collective choice for us as a body of people or a microcosm of humanity, but it's a personal choice. You heard Mr. Morifara talk about us investing a lot of time and emotional energy, commitment, if you will, into seeing ONPASSIVE and seeing its goals through. And nothing in Mr. Mufara's commitment, ONPASSIVE's commitment to have a positive global impact has changed. So we'll still be doing whatever it is that we need to do, that we started out to do, right? Which is lifting humanity and everything that leads to that. Because even if ONPASSIVE were to get squashed underneath the pressures that are brought against us, the world is still changing and humanity will still be lifted, because the entire planet and humanity is experiencing a raised consciousness, if you will, that's manifesting as lots of things, primarily conscious businesses, the desire for greater good the world over. Obviously, ONPASSIVE's not going to be squashed. It's absolutely impossible. It can't happen. But the point is, we're not alone in all this. We have millions of, look at the founder base. I mean, hundreds of thousands of us together with millions around the world in and out of ONPASSIVE, and we're all focusing on greater good and radiating that benevolent energy in such a way that we simply cannot fail. It truly is a done deal. And ONPASSIVE, in my opinion, as the best conscious business in the world, is leading the way. Because of this, I don't see any way that we can be deterred by the giants that surround us, or the methods of corruption they deploy or use against us. As a matter of fact, we don't even need to focus on that stuff at all. Doing that's just going to rob us of our own power, right? Our own internal integrities and characters, and focusing our thoughts, our energies, if you will, on anything is going to amplify whatever we're focusing on. It's going to make it stronger. So let's focus on love. Let's focus on lifting humanity through unity and ONPASSIVE. Let's amplify that, because, there'll be no doubt in the coming weeks, even as we've seen in the last 2 or 3 weeks, Mr. Mufaro is going to come on, and he's going to give us more information. We're going to hear more about what's going on with ONPASSIVE. And we're going to be a part of all those changes that we see coming into view as we keep looking toward the horizon. Now, we're also probably going to hear about some things that may have happened in situations affecting us that we might not even be aware of now, right? And that's fine. It's all part of moving forward. And my guess is we're going to hear a lot from Mr. Mufara about things that have happened from the outside coming in, and things that we've done to ourselves on the inside, so to speak, through staffing and issues of that nature, stuff that maybe we didn't keep a good eye on that possibly we know better now. Still, we don't have to dwell on any of these things. We just look at them, objectively, understanding they're a part of our growth. They're all of this is a part of our journey, and we're moving through it. We're moving on, kind of like sailors navigating, if you will, through treacherous waters, underneath the starry sky, and just kind of a steady as she goes, where, yeah, okay, we're getting bobbing and weaving and we're getting tossed around a bit. But in all of this, we reapply mastery so we can get our bearings. We chart a new course from our current position, which is it's precisely what Mr. Mufara has done and is doing. It's kind of like, when you're moving you got a compass in your hand, you're moving it around, and the needle settles, bing, and it points toward that geographic point that we call true north. Well, we have to adjust our sights. We have to kind of move that around to see exactly where is it that we want to get to. Then we look in that direction, and we take the journey up from that position on a different path. But in all this, we're moving towards the original destination. It's the same destination we started 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. That hasn't changed. This is perseverance. In this way, we're sailing through the storm, and our hearts are fixed on the connectedness, the mutual benefit, and the greater good. Now, in all of this, I'm just saying, let's love and respect one another while holding fast to the values of compassion, empathy, and kindness. Let us lift each other up, work together towards common goals. I mean, look around. We are the champions of change. We are the heart of this revolution. It's like Loretta's song says, we are a revolution, standing tall. We're united, right? Together, we can achieve this greatness that we're looking for, and we know it's going to happen. Together, we can create the world that is worthy of our highest aspirations. And in doing so, we will just automatically lift humanity. It's part and parcel of the package. And as long as we've got our heart and mind in the right place, then life is going to be good for all of us. And I'm going to drop it right there. And I thank you so much for letting me have a little bit of time here to talk to you. And I really hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day as we go through your webinar this morning. Thank you, Mabel.
Thank you. Thank you. If I may say, it's a short one. But you're always very good in giving a 20 minutes, presentation, topic. So thank you very much. Has John, go ahead. Your hand is raised.
Yeah, yes, I wanted to say something first because I don't have too much to say, but I just want to thank Jeffrey first of all for this completely enlightened view of not only ONPASSIVE situation, but of this global strife and things that are happening all over the world that, of course, relates and directly affects ONPASSIVE. So to hear his information so accurately, and then to see what he's saying to us in his short message toward the end there is essentially stay the course, be what we are, continue to support ONPASSIVE, each other, to be motivated to help us become the movement that we are and that we want to be, to help to correct the corruption, these problems that are globally everywhere that definitely affect ONPASSIVE because we are everywhere. And we have a significant job to do with ONPASSIVE and to be moving forward and to support each other and help each other to be as one, to have the eventual success in helping to correct some of this terrible corruption that is all over the world in many countries. And we can just see it. We see it in the news. We see everything that's happening. It's just something it's daunting. It's frightening. But I think that with, for example, someone like Jeffrey, with the attitude that he projects, the knowledge that he has, it's just encouraging to me. And I think we should all take note of what he has said to us today. And let's stay together. Let's move forward. Let's do the best that we can to make ONPASSIVE what we know it is. And its goals are the same as when it all started. No matter what travails and troubles that we're going through, we still have the same purpose and end to look forward to. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you, Jeffrey, very much.
Very good summary, John. Yeah. Anyone else who want to comment, say something, add to it, how they feel? We take to heart, I like the topic and how it is, at least what's summarized by John, but Jeffrey, really through it all, we are moving towards our original destination. So yes, the world is dark, can get darker, but ONPASSIVE represent hope and light. Really, ONPASSIVE is going to make the world a better place, because that is our vision, mission, and we are not going to stray away from that. It just makes us stronger. As Ash always says, it makes us closer and nearer, and it just makes us stronger with all this experience, wiser. So anyone wants to say something? We have, okay, 20 attendees. And Ellen, you're a familiar person here. Would you like to say something? And what I like, Jeffrey, is that even today, this topic, it will just be a short and sharp one consisting of your message. And it will be short, sharp, easy to broadcast in our YouTube. That's what I like. But I always like your final summary, with all your text and notes in your 20 minutes summary. So, well, hope this one will bring the message across with this recording. Okay. Jeannie, how do you feel, Jeannie? Faith, how do you feel at this difficult time where the world is facing? And how aptly Jeffrey is mentioning all the countries that are going through difficult times. You have mentioned many countries, and I don't want to repeat them. It's just that the times ahead is not easy. But here, ONPASSIVE is here to speak of hope. And of course, many don't want us to succeed, but we will succeed, because as I always believe, it's a divine movement. It's just not Mr. Ash, he has received a calling and he is answering to the calling, but it's a divine movement, a divine calling. And we thank God that he's responding to God's call, and he's not alone. And we are for him. We are for him. Jeannie, would you like to say something? And then we pass back to, I'll say something, you say something, I'll say something, we pass back to Jeffrey to summarize the night.
Yes, definitely. Sorry, my internet is not stable. I get zoom. I keep getting zooming in and out. Yeah.
Okay.
So if I lose you, that means my internet. Yeah.
Okay.
So okay, Brother Jeffrey, I really want to thank you for sharing what you shared tonight. And I think that gives all of us who are present here today to really grasp what you're sharing. And to comfort ourselves and to really reassure ourselves that ONPASSIVE is here to stay. So we are strong here. We have to stay strong, and we have to continue to pray and support Mr. Ash Mufareh, because he's working out there very hard for all of us. And we know that we will get there. We will get there. It's a matter of time. Yeah. So nothing good is easy. Okay. And what Mr. Ash Mufareh is going through, it's not easy. It's tough. And he's one man shouldering all this, of course, with whoever that's backing him. But he has a lot of people who has played him out. And I feel very painful, for him. And I can feel the pain that he has gone through, and he's still going through it. And we all know. So let's just silently stay behind him, back him up with our prayers. And I think he needs our prayers. So let's be strong and hold on. Together we will win. Thank you, Brother Jeffrey, for your powerful sharing tonight.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to add on to that, Jeffrey, I want to thank you. Truly, you have really enlightened us again to what the world is going through, to what it can even get worse. But like you say, we should be steady and stay on the course and get ready for better things to come. Thank you for encouraging us. Thank you for projecting to us the severity of the circumstances around the entire globe. And we, even though small as we are in Singapore, I want to thank God that for us, the Lord have been covering us and taking care of all of us. And also ONPASSIVE, I believe, is in the very hands of God. And like the Bible says, the battle belongs to the Lord.
Amen.
Whatever the world goes through, ONPASSIVE is the Lord's. So we stay the course, and we thank you that you are always here with us, and you will always be here to help us hold our hands of those who are weak and might be floundering by the side. We will hold each other's hands and we will make it together as we commit Mr. Ash Mufara
Yes.
to God. And thank you again, Jeffrey. We are so blessed to have you. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, I want to echo what Faith says, Jeffrey. We acknowledge you as our leader, with great understanding and wisdom. So even as you lead OPassion and enlighten us about the way and the path of ONPASSIVE, we want to acknowledge you and thank you very much for your contribution to OPassion. As tonight, what you have said, and I just want to repeat, through it all, ONPASSIVE will prevail because it is a divine movement. It will fulfill its vision and mission to lift up humanity and make the world a better place. Mr. Ash Mufara, as what you say, is sometimes is flying at 16,000 feet and we are on the ground, but he sees further and clearer. And we thank God for leaders like you who are flying with him and understand what he is doing and ensuring, informing us, comforting us that all is well. And I really believe all is well because it is a God movement. I just want to end by saying and to remind all of us, your very word, Jeffrey, we are the heart of this movement. The 1.4 million accounts or head count founders, no matter how many 100,000s we are the very heart of this movement. And this time of waiting, it is not delay. I always believe we are not delayed, but there is a timing. There is a God's timing for everything. And this waiting, this delay is actually a preparation of our heart and mind to strengthen it, to give us character, to be able to, even with blessings, with goodness, with virtues, with resources, we can do better, more, and further. So, Jeffrey, we would like you to help us close the night with some summary. Again, take as long as you need. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, John, everybody. Thank you. I'm going to have to do a little backtracking here because I look at things rather objectively. I don't try to get too much emotion into things. And I thought, you know what, let me paint a big picture view here of the world and then kind of insert ONPASSIVE into that. And I think what I did was I depressed some of you, and I didn't mean to do that because these are exciting times.
Wow.
I am telling you, there are changes occurring in this world that have never happened to humanity before, and we're a part of that. ONPASSIVE is a part of that.
Wow.
And so these are exciting, exciting times. Now, having said that, and I appreciate that you've given me, Mabel, some leeway saying take as much time as I need, because again, I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but through it all, we're fine. I would encourage folks, go back and listen to the last 3 videos, the 360s, and I think there was a Heroes webinar where Ash was talking. Pull out some of the highlights of what he's saying, and every one of them match. I mean, he talks about the big vision and the big picture for ONPASSIVE and the world. I mean, he's got a good mindset there that puts things together like that and kind of look over the horizon. These things that we're going through right now, and yes, I brought there was, I mean, I gave you a whole list. I mean, there's a lot of bad things that happen in the world. I probably should have, on the other side of that, given you some contrast. There's a lot of great things happening in the world. There's a lot of really cool things with technology and with medicine and all sorts of things that are happening and uplifting. So I didn't mean to give a one-sided picture going, oh, it's all doom and gloom, we better hang on to ONPASSIVE because that's all we got. That's not the story. The story is we're changing, humanity's changing, we're all lifting up, and the platform that ONPASSIVE is giving us is going to allow us to do what our hearts want to do in a bigger, better, faster, sweeter, redder, more powerful way. It will empower us going through these things that we go through. It's just a matter of course. I mean, think about what ONPASSIVE is doing, what we've gone through, the challenges we've had, and then each one of us take a look, or set that off to the side, kind of put that up here and just stick a pin in it, and then think personally, what about our lives? What about our families? How many things do we go through on a weekly or a daily basis or a monthly or even year, once in 5 years? How often do we struggle in our own lives or in our own families? It's just a matter of life. It happens. We go in cycles, ebb and flow. Everything has cycles in life. We happen to be in a cycle right now that's got us struggling a little bit. But that's all it is. It's just a struggle, and we're going to come out of it stronger. We're going to come out of it with more character. We're going to come out of it empowered, because we're going to be able to see, looking at the world, we're not alone. We have others that are going through things just like we are, and together we're stronger. And like Mr. Mufar says, we're going to win, and we win bigger together. So this is going to allow us, these hardships and these struggles, that's all they are. A year from now, we're going to be laughing about them. 5 years from now, we'll probably not be talking about them. We're still looking at that legacy. I think, Jeannie, you were talking about that. What the history that we're going to leave behind us, we're going to be able to talk about this. This is the stuff that legacies are made of. This isn't something that's going to knock us down or knock us out. This is all part and parcel with growth and loving life and becoming more of who we were supposed to be, so that we can become a lot more effective, so we can be empowered for the greater good. And we do this by following our heart and our passions. And Mr. Mufar's platform, the ecosystem with all of the things there, is going to do that. It's going to allow us to empower ourselves and those around us by following our passions, because whatever excites me, I can now say, wow, I really want to make something happen for the people in my neighborhood, because I know there a lot of them are hurting and they need repairs on their homes and on their cars. And you know what? I can do that. I can go using the platform Mr. Mufar has given us. I can earn money for myself, and I could use OBLESS if I wanted to do something like that, or any other thing that I wanted to do, and I can bring other members in, and together we can make my community stronger. And as communities do that, we make states stronger, and as states do that, we make countries stronger, and as countries do that, we make the globe stronger. That's where we're going. It's all part and parcel with being a lot more effective with what we want to do and how we want to grow from our own passions. So follow your heart, follow your passions. ONPASSIVE is going to give us what we need like nobody else can. So I didn't mean to kind of depress anybody. To me, this is exciting because we know where we're at now. We know what for a year we've been struggling. We didn't know where the blows were coming from. You know, these people are hidden in the dark and they're hurting us. And we're like, oh, where'd that come from? Now we know where all the trouble's coming from. Now we know who was doing it and we know where we're at. So now we've got a plan. Mr. Mufara's got a plan, and it might take us a little bit to get this thing rolling, but we've got a plan and we started. And that's the cure for us. That's part and parcel of becoming who we're supposed to be, getting back on a pathway of sorts, but still looking at the lifting humanity and lifting the founder base and ensuring success and encouraging those around us. That's what it's about. I mean, we're not going anywhere. I would encourage you, go back and listen to some of Mr. Mufara's videos over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and just know that even though we may not know everything that's going on, that's probably a good thing. I don't want to, man, we're able to hear about some things that we didn't know happened. And we're going to go, wow, I'm glad you didn't tell me that, because you know what? We do have folks that are struggling. We have folks that are just like, I feel so weary. I've been in this for such a while. It just feels like we're not going anywhere. And every time I take a turn, it seems like right around that corner, somebody smacks me in the forehead before I even get turned in a new direction. I get it. But together we can help people say, hey, look, we're all going through it. It's a global thing. It's not just ONPASSIVE. It's just life. So what do they say? Buckle up, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. I mean, John, how many times have you done that where you feel like you've been knocked down and you get right back up? And this is what we do. And these are bragging rights we're getting. Years from now, when we're through it and we're enjoying the lives that we know we're going to be enjoying, and we're working fully to help those around us, and we're seeing the magic of humanity rising into a new level. Life is good. Life is good. We should be excited about where we are. It's kind of difficult to be excited about what we're going through because nobody likes pain, but on the other side of it, there's beauty. On the other side of it, there's hope and there's health. And there's so many things that we can all do right now just to inch that forward a little bit. But Jeannie and Mabel and all of you, you're right. Holding our brothers in arms, if you will, all the ONPASSIVians in prayer and lifting them up, lifting Mr. Mufara up, keeping Bangladesh and other countries who are going through these things, these terrible things, lifting them up, giving them an encouraging word, and just saying, hey, we're here with you. I might be across the world, but I feel what you're feeling, and I'm so sorry you're going through it, but take my hand, take my heart, and we'll get through it together, because that's where we're going. Now, I'll let it go. I'll let it go.
Yeah.
We're in a good spot.
Great. Jeffrey, it is not a depressive message. In fact, I find that it is an enlightening message. It is helping those who have doubt and confusion, and even those who might be complaining, to let them understand the reality of difficult times. And sometimes good causes are not easy to establish. So you are not 100%, you're not depressing us, but you are correcting the spirit and the attitude from complaint, wonder, and why to a time of understanding and appreciation. Appreciation at all levels for ONPASSIVE, and much more for what Mr. Ash Mufara is undergoing. He did all this. I think he have said many times, he's not doing it for himself. He's doing it for us. And he doesn't need to do all this. He is well all the way through his legacy and generations, but he's doing all this for us and for humanity, and for us to be his extended hands and legs, heart and mind. So we are not depressed. We have better understanding now of what the world is going through, what actually we are going through, humanity is going through, what ONPASSIVE is going through. And so with understanding, we now have appreciation. Brother Jeffrey, thank you very much for the evening, for the message. And we are grateful. We are grateful. Thank you. Anyone want to say any more thing? If not, we will end the night with a big bang, you know, with the great hope that God has for us. And we pray it is true. It ought to be a humanity's prayer for ONPASSIVE, for Mr. Ash Mufara. God bless him. Thank you, Jeffrey. Good night, everyone. Good night.
So we are in it to win it, ma'am.
Yes, in it to win it. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So we are in it to win it, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes,
Good night.
yes.